Congratulations.
Thank you. Hi, everybody. Good to see you. Before we get started, I just have a few announcements. I do want to ask a favor. One of my good friends from the South Philly group is in pretty serious shape in the hospital with the virus. And so I'm going to ask you to just take a moment and just kind of keep him in your prayers. His name is Jimmy R. So just take a moment of silence for Jimmy. And also, don't forget all the other people that are struggling and suffering from this crazy disease. Okay, we're hanging in with them. Keep your prayers coming. I do want to mention that we had to do a change in the lecture schedule. It's on the website. Apparently, when we did the schedule, we missed one of the dates, but everything's pretty much the same. This week is affirmations and self-parenting. Next week is family of origin. And then I'm going to do an extra lecture on the inner child. So I'll be doing the inner child one, and then I'm going to do meditations with the inner child. So I added an extra lecture in to fill in the space. But that schedule is on the website if you want to get a copy of it. Okay, but and also
Not yet. It's not on the website yet. We're getting it up. We'll fix it.
And then Ellen's going to send it out by email too. So we'll be straightened out on that. Okay. I also just want to mention real quickly, all the lectures, all the programs that we do, our podcasts and everything else, we have a new education page. We invite you to go to it. You can get the lectures there. You can get everything there. Also on Vince's Corner, my page, we also have all the lectures. They're all available to you in YouTube. And tonight I'm going to be asking you to go to Vince's Corner. I'll tell you more about that in the lecture, to set up some things for next week. I'll show you how we can work on that. Okay? All right. Okay, that's all the commercials. So we'll go from there. I'm going to begin by doing the reading from the language of letting go, which is the daily meditation book for codependence. Since we're doing affirmations tonight, I picked a reading from December the 11th, which is on affirmations. One of our choices in recovery is choosing what we want to think, using our mental energy positively. Positive mental energy, positive thinking, does not mean we think unrealistically or revert to denial. If we don't like something, we respect our own opinion. If we spot a problem, we're honest about it. Something isn't working out, we accept reality. But we don't dwell on the negative parts of our experience. Whatever we give energy to, we empower. There is magic in empowering the good, because whatever we empower grows bigger. One way to empower the good is through affirmations. Simple, beautiful, positive statements we make to ourselves. I love myself. I respect myself. I honor myself. I'm good enough. My life is good. I'm glad I'm alive today. These are all positive affirmations for us to be able to look at ourselves in a good and healthy, positive way. Our choice in recovery is not whether to use affirmations. We've been affirming thoughts and beliefs since we were old enough to speak. The choice in recovery is what we want to affirm. Today, I will empower the good in myself, others, and life. I'm going to release or let go of negative thought patterns and replace them with positive ones. I will choose what I want to affirm, and I will make it good. Okay, I just want to backtrack for a second from last week, because I told you, I gave you a couple little assignments last week, and hopefully some of you did them. I talked about going to the dollar store and getting the two books, the negative book and the positive book, as part of our recovery process. I also talked about getting a coloring book and crayons, so we can learn how to be a little kid again and kind of have some fun. So tonight, what I want to do is I want to work on the next step in that, and just hold on to the books, because we're going to be using them, and the crayons, good therapy. Crayons and coloring books are the greatest therapy on the face of the earth. You forget everything else when you're doing it. But tonight, what I want to work on is that concept of doing affirmations, affirming ourselves in a positive way, and also learning how to learn a principle I want you to concentrate on. I don't want you doing family of origin work or inner child work unless we're ready to do it with a positive attitude. See, the whole purpose of the work we're doing, the whole purpose is to look at things of a positive nature. I can look at my history and look at my background, look at my experience, and even the traumas and things we've gone through, the hurt and the pain. I have to be able to come to a point where I can face it, embrace it, learn from it, grow from it, let it become my teacher, so I can draw something positive from every negative. You know, one of my favorite books, I love it because to me it speaks to what I'm talking about tonight, is Norman Vincent Peale, The Power of Positive Thinking. I truly believe that our energy and our power we have inside of us, that energy of being positive, will help us to be able to handle so many things in the course of our journey in life. And so doing affirmations is a big part of this process. So some of the ways we kind of teach you to do affirmations, I'll kind of go through some things with you and kind of show you. One of the most powerful ways is when you get the opportunity, take your positive notebook, and I would like you to write a composition, feel like you're in school, write a composition entitled My Fantasy Family. Remember, the work we're doing is the first 10 to 12 years of our life. So make believe you're a little baby getting ready to be born. This is called using your imagination. I would like you to create on paper the perfect mother, the perfect father, the perfect siblings. If you want to get rid of your siblings, get rid of them. Whatever you want to do goes. It's a fantasy. You can have fun. And literally create everything that you like things to be. What you're doing, not even knowing you're doing it, is you are actually creating your personal needs. Let me give you an example of this in my own life, in my own journey. When I did this work myself, some of the things I needed, for example, in my mother, I wanted my mother to be someone who would give me space, give me distance, and allow me to be a normal kid. My mother didn't do that, possessive and controlling. And so as a result, I learned something from that. Once I was able to face that and deal with it, I learned that in my life today, I need to be around people that are not controlling, people that allow me to be who I am. I need to be around people that are positive in my life. I can make these choices today. They're my needs. I have to get my needs met from positive people. The same thing goes in every area of our life. And so we learn after a period of time. We learn the process of being able to look at ourselves and look at our history and draw something positive from it. And that's the most important part of this recovery process. To do that very many times, that fantasy family, I'll give you another example. I had a young couple come to see me from Narcotics Anonymous. And I was going to perform their wedding, as I still do some weddings today. As they were coming to perform their wedding, they sat down with me and they were really upset. They were upset because it's almost like they were going through this battle with their family. They were in the recovery program and they didn't want alcohol at the wedding, but their family said they should have it for people who wanted it. And then one family said one thing, one family said another. And they said, we feel like we're in the middle of a craziness. And I wish we could just elope and get this over with. I said, calm down. Here's what I want you to do. Take this yellow pad, go into the next room. And what I want you to do is make believe both your families don't exist. And I want you to create on paper your fantasy wedding, exactly as the two of you would like to see it happen. Just give yourself permission to do that. Well, they stayed about an hour in the room, and then finally they came back and brought it to me. I looked at it and I read it and I said, guess what? This is your wedding. He said, really? I said, yep. It's yours. It belongs to you. You identified everything you wanted to do in this. So what we did was we created a ceremony based around the 12 steps of the recovery program. We brought the recovery program into the wedding. Then for the reception, they did something very beautiful. Instead of doing the traditional stuff you do at a reception, the two of them shared their recovery stories with everybody in the place. And there wasn't a dry eye in the whole entire place. Everybody loved it. And guess what? They survived without alcohol. Everything was wonderful and great. My wife and I did the exact same thing for our wedding because we didn't want craziness at our wedding. And so we had a holistic health wedding. It was pretty neat. We even had a sugar and flour-free cake that was made by Mr. Oletto. I'll never forget that. And we really did all the things we wanted to do. And guess what? Nobody objected except a couple members of my Italian family. What can I tell you? You know, of course, I think they were going through withdrawal during the wedding, but that's all right. We survived it. You know, and I still laugh at some of this stuff because I realize the fact, you know, we get so caught up in the insanities of different things. We have to look at the positive and the good things that we can do. And that surrogate principle, I'm going to share that with you next, is so powerful. See, I've learned to get my needs met, I have to go to people that are open and meet them with me. One of the big mistakes we make, and we'll talk about this more when we do the inner child work, one of the biggest mistakes we make is we expect people to meet our needs who can't meet our needs. Then we get upset at them because they can't meet our needs instead of accepting it. So you have to learn to go to people where you get our needs met. And I'll give you an example. A lady friend of mine from the Adult Children of Alcoholics program called me back in the 80s. And she said, Vince, I'm going to ask you a favor. If you can do it, it'd be great. I'm getting married, and I decided not to invite my father to the wedding. I said, what's the story? She said, well, he came to my sister's wedding, and he got drunk as usual, and he knocked her cake over. It was total insanity, the whole entire wedding. He was just a mess. I'm not inviting him to my wedding. I want to ask you, because I've learned this through the ACOA program, I want to ask you to be my surrogate dad for the wedding. Well, I said, this would be different. I said, okay. So I got dressed up. I got to walk her down the aisle, you know, and I got to give her away. I got to dance with her to Daddy's Little Girl. I got to be her surrogate dad for the wedding. It was a good experience for her as well as it was for me. She took care of herself. She got her needs met. And I have learned this over the years. It's okay to ask people that are open to participate to help you to get your needs met, instead of keep trying to force people to meet them who can't meet them. It's a powerful process. But affirmations are also another beautiful thing we learn. We learn how to look at things positively. So do yourself a favor. Another great little exercise if you want to try it. What I'd like you to do, I would like you to ask two people that you really like, that like you. Ask them to write you a letter of affirmation telling you everything they like about you. Nothing negative is allowed in the letter. And then I want you, if you get the opportunity, to sit down and write yourself a love letter telling you everything you love about yourself. Want to really have some fun, mail it to yourself. You'll finally get a love letter in the mail. It's fantastic. It's amazing you come down to it. And so if we learn this, we will learn the importance of affirming ourselves. I'm going to tell you something.
And you're muted.
I don't know how we got muted. I'm muted. Okay. Anyway, I'm unmuted now. I got to get them straight. Anyway, one of the things I just wanted to mention is it's interesting how people can see the beauty in you can't see in yourself. And that's one of the reasons why I try to tell people something that comes from the old Philadelphia Bulletin. My friend Iggy, remember Iggy, the comic strip? He used to say, I met the enemy is me. We are the ones who are hardest on ourselves. Other people see so much good inside of us. But see, that's the thing we have to work on, to see the beauty and the strength we have inside of ourselves as a person. Because we are very special people. And that's the most important thing we have to look at. We're God's creation. And that's why when I do inner child work and begin to do this work, it's exciting because we want to do it from a positive perspective. Give another example of good affirmations. I recommend to everybody before you go to bed at night, I would like you to go into the bathroom, we normally do anyway, for a couple of seconds, stand in front of the mirror, look yourself directly in the eye and say to yourself, you're special, you're beautiful, and I love you. When you really get excited, go up to the mirror and kiss yourself goodnight. But brush your teeth first, don't forget, because that could be embarrassing. But it's an interesting process. How did I learn this? I'll tell you a story. When I was a priest and I was doing what I call retreat days, a good friend of mine who's a paraplegic, who's a very special man, invited me once a year to come and do a workshop or a retreat day for paraplegics. And I met this guy, Bob, when I was there. I used to admire him. Here's a guy who was very disformed. He was in a very special made wheelchair. He would be in front of a mirror, and he would do this all the time. He would look at himself and keep telling himself how beautiful, how special, how much he loved himself, and he honored himself. All these beautiful things he used to say about himself. We have a name for that. We call that mirror therapy. And mirror therapy is really important because we learn in mirror therapy to look at things in a positive way. So I'll tell you another great story. A good friend of mine, who's a school teacher, she teaches first grade. She came to these lectures and she picked up on this and she said, I'm going to do something. She said, Vince, let me see how it works. In her classroom, she put a full-length mirror. She had the kids come in every day, stand in front of the mirror and say, you're special, you're beautiful, and I love you. And the first time she did it, the kids would go, especially with all and then they'd run away from the mirror. But she was persistent. She did it every day, every day, every day. After 6 months, she told me, those kids would fight to get in front of the mirror. They would stand there and say, you're special, you're beautiful, I love you, you're fantastic, you're wonderful, all kinds of stuff. She said, unbelievable, she said. But that's what I mean about affirmations. The more you put positive stuff inside of you, the more you're able to tell good stuff about yourself, the more beautiful you become. It's a beautiful part of it. And I really emphasize this because in a way, I'm actually telling you to re-brainwash yourself to think positively. We're an amazing bunch of human beings. We really are. Think about it for a minute. You can have a wonderful day. Everything goes great and fantastic. Then at 7:30 for a half an hour, something goes wrong. Guess what you're going to talk about the next day? The half an hour that went wrong. You forget about the rest of the day that was beautiful. And so it's really important to go back to the positive. And so as we begin doing this family of origin work, I'll give you homework tonight. I always give homework. Begin to do this family of origin work. Begin to believe that we can look at something positive from every negative. Remember the old yin and the yang? From every negative comes a positive. It's the balance of life. Everything in life is connected to it. Along with this, I'm going to talk a little bit tonight about self-parenting, because self-parenting is the key to doing inner child work. And for those of you that are interested, if you go to our website, startingpoint.org, and go to Vince's Corner, and you scroll down to the bottom of my Vince's Corner, you will see where I did the lectures on the 12 steps for self-parenting. Okay, those lectures are right there, and they can help you in this process I'm talking about tonight. But I want to describe self-parenting to you. I always describe it from a little book I got from AA. I love this little book. It's called Stools and Bottles. I love it because of its analogies. but they have the analogy of the three-legged stool. I want you to look at that three-legged stool just for a couple of minutes and look at the three legs and look at the base. The base is our history and the base is our work. And so the three legs are the inner child, the little child that's inside of each and every one of us. Each one of us has a beautiful little boy or a beautiful little girl deep down inside of us. It's part of who we are. We also experience what we call the higher parent. That's us as adults. We're referred to as the higher parent. And then there's the higher power, our connection with faith, our connection with belief. Combine those three things together, they're the foundation for being able to meet that little child and be able to do that work and be able to do it in a positive way with a healing process, which is really important. And so we have to work on that. Now, let me show you how this works. One of the things we learn in self-parenting, it's a very simple process. We have to allow our inner child to have a voice. I'll tell you more about that next week. To give that little child a voice, to be able to express its feelings. Many of us in growing up never had a voice. So I'm able to express those feelings. Then me as the higher parent will listen to that little child and will be able to help that little child as the higher parent to go through a process of healing, to go through a process of forgiving, to go through a process of helping that little child to become more positive and learn from the past. See, I truly believe all the experiences we've gone through in life, including our history, and your history is your most powerful teacher. All those experiences that we go through are fundamentally ways in which we can develop our strength. If we're able to face them, embrace them, but it takes a higher parent to do that, to face them, embrace them, accept them, learn from them, and grow from them. Because truly, they are our teachable moments. I can look back on my own life today as an example. My mother, God rest her soul, gave me my addictive personality. My little boy wasn't too happy about that. But I realized today, with the help of me finally getting into recovery with my higher parent, I can look at the gift that she gave me to look at that negative thing called the addictive personality and turn it into something positive. Today, I'm grateful for my addictive personality. So thank you, Mom. God rest your soul, because it brought me into recovery. It gave me the gift of recovery. See, I truly believe if you're able to do this healing process, something powerful and something beautiful will come from it. My father taught me to be the ultimate codependent. And God, I won awards for it, not a problem at all. And my father basically was Mr. Wonderful, Mr. Fantastic, did everything for everybody. But the bottom line was he never did a thing for himself. Today, I'm able, by my higher parent, with the higher power, to realize that, to acknowledge that. I was angry at my father for a while to get through that and know today I can have a life for myself today. And I can build a life for myself today. See, I'm able to be an individual, to work on my own particular self, because I was able to heal and learn from the past. I have my father's traits in me for the rest of my life. I have to learn how to balance them, how to set boundaries with them, how to be able to work them in a positive way. And so what the higher parent is actually doing is they're helping that inner child to go through this healing process and this learning process. And believe me, it's exciting, because as you go through this, you begin to realize that everything in life takes you to the other dimension. Everything in life has a positive side to it. As sad as we're going through right now with the pandemic, the things that are happening, it gave us another outlook on life. I never in my life thought I'd be doing Zoom. I'd be learning the things I'm learning today, meeting people from different parts of the country, experiencing things I never thought I'd be doing before. And so I've got to try to look at everything positively the best I possibly can. Is there sadness in that? Yes. Is there a loss in it? Yes. And many of us have gone through sadness and loss. We've seen people close to us we have to pass on. We have to be able to look at them somehow in a positive way and be able to realize that now they're our angels, they're our teachers, they're our guides. They're on a journey someplace else. But they're still connected to us, though, because they're in here. You see, I truly believe if we learn to parent that little child and take care of that little child, you'll discover the beauty and the strength each one of us has inside of ourselves as a person. Because remember, we're all God's creation. We have this energy that God gave to us. It's so powerful and so beautiful. You have to be able to acknowledge it. Also, connected to those three-legged stool are the first three steps of the self-parenting techniques. For example, step 1 talks about surrendering to our love and not to our fear. I've learned 2 of the greatest elements in life are fear and love. A Course in Miracles teaches this all the time, that truly if I can face my fears, face the things I experience, face them with the power of love, with the power of healing, I can learn from them and work through them and work to the other side. But it means me being able to do my work and to see the strength I have inside of me and the beautiful energy I have inside of me. You know, I looked at things tonight because I looked at the mistake in the lecture schedule. And of course, you know, I said, oh boy, I missed a week. Now, they gave me an excuse to do another week. It's fantastic. So now I added a new lecture onto this codependency series at the end. I'm going to do meditations with the inner child, which I always love doing. And so we'll connect that on. We'll do 2 weeks on the inner child now instead of just 1. So have some more fun with it. And so I really believe that little kid is the gift to everything in life. It's exciting to be able just to be in an adult body, but realize deep down inside, I'm still a little kid on the inside. To be able to have joy, celebration, even though, yes, there will be sadness, there will be hurt, there'll be loss, there'll be changes, things we have to go through. It's part of the journey. The second step teaches us about faith, hope, and love. I'm such a believer in the gift of faith. Faith can move mountains. We can accomplish anything through faith. Faith actually gives us the gift of hope. See, to have faith is something beautiful because I truly believe we do the footwork, but the higher power guides us and helps us through with a sense of faith. You know, I'm always preaching this to Loretta all the time, and I say it to my board of directors and everything else, and I say, don't worry about it. I'm Italian, what can I tell you? Don't worry about it. Michael the Archangel will take care of it. Everything always works. Somehow, some way, somebody comes along, something happens. It's totally amazing when you come right down to it. You know, so you just have to kind of live one day at a time, go with the flow, be open to new things, face the things you have to face, and try to the best of your ability, even when it's hard, to put a smile on your face, even when it's hard to do it. There's sadness there, I know. We're all going to go through loss. Now, I was even smiling today here at Holiday City. We built a monument to our veterans. I had a big part of play in that. So there were 14 of us on the original Veterans Committee. We put it together, and I was out there visiting the monument yesterday. And I sat and looked at the plaque we have with the names of the 14 people who put this place together in 2000. Guess what? Out of 14, only 2 of us are still alive. Only 2 of us. I said, oh my God. But at the same time, I says, you know what? I love the memories of all the people that were connected to that. And that's what's important. It's all part of it. A walk-in starting point. There's a plaque up on the wall with the names of all the people that were the original founders. And to my knowledge, I'm the only one that's still alive out of that whole group, you know? And yet I know they're there. They walk the halls of Starting Point all day long. They're our guides. They're our spirits. They're part of who we are. They help us every day to bring somebody new into our life. And I really believe that because today I answered the door at the Starting Point, and a guy came through the door and he said, hi, Vince. I said, you remember me, do you? She said, I've been here before. He said, you helped me a lot. I need help again. And so I just talked to him on the phone tonight, right before I came on the air. And basically, I got him set up with a lot of stuff. And he said, thanks. Thanks for just being there. And thank you for starting point. It's the little things like that that make your day so beautiful and so special. And that third step means we have to have trust. Trust that there's something greater than us in this world, something that's guiding us. We're on a journey. There's a beginning, there's an ending. I always joke, we all got a round trip ticket. Congratulations. I don't know when it's going to get punched. It'll get punched. Don't worry. The conductor always comes around. And basically, we have to realize that's what it's really all about. You do the best you can. You live one day at a time. You celebrate. But we have to realize the fact that that self-parenting technique is so powerful because it means I have the power. And that's what's important. Each one of us has the power to take care of our personal needs and to be able to take care of ourselves and be able to love, respect, and honor ourselves as a person, because I believe in what the steps teach us. They are the greatest self-parenting tool on the face of this earth. And notice the early founders, when they put the steps together, the first 11 steps are for us to work on ourselves. Having done your own work, then carry a message. You carry a message by your energy, by the way you touch other people. It's the little things that count, not the big things. And that's what's important. We even talk to each other through energy, through our spirit. Our spirit is our guide. And that's why I really believe we're on a journey. And basically, sometimes we lose people. But that spirit is never lost. It's part of who we are deep down on the inside. And so as we go through the self-parenting techniques, I'm going to ask you, when you get the opportunity, to go back to the website, to Vince's Corner. If you scroll down to the 12 steps on self-parenting lectures, right above it, you will see a little thing you can click onto. It gives you a list of the 12 steps of self-parenting and what they are. On the bottom of it, you're going to find the 7 questions. Now, I'm going to ask you if you can download those questions, and we're going to begin to work on those for next week. And the questions are very simple, and yet they're a beautiful way to begin to do your family of origin work. The questions, I'll go through them real quickly with you. They're all based on perception and your perception of your childhood, your perception of your family. The first question is, how did my perception of my childhood, what was my perception of my childhood and my parents? How did I perceive my parents in my childhood? How did I perceive my grandparents? How did I perceive my neighborhood, my culture, my environment in which I was raised? How did I perceive my religious upbringing, my religious background, or my non-religious background? How do I perceive my peers? How do they affect me? How do I perceive myself as a child? And finally, in the last question, how do I look at my childhood, how it affects me and my relationships today? Now, those 7 questions are the foundation of doing family of origin work. I know I went through them quickly. Don't try to copy them down. But you want to get a copy of them, go to the website, startingpoint.org, go to Vince's Corner. Down at the bottom, you'll see them, the 7 questions. You can link on and you can download them. They're right there for you. And so what I'm encouraging you to do is I'm going to try to give you some techniques and some ways to do this work, but I'll take you to another dimension. If you do download the questions, and you do write out the answers to them, I'm going to give you an offer you can't refuse. Okay? Here comes my Italian in me again. If you download those questions, give me a call, and I will set up a time to meet with you and go through the questions with you and show you how they work. Okay, I have no problems doing a session with each of you if you want to do it, but you got to do the work first. Remember that. Because unless you have the history of writing the work down, we can't do the work. Okay. So I'll be very happy to do that with you. It's my treat. So we're working that direction. Okay. So I hope that tonight helps you understand affirmations a lot better. Affirm yourself, because guess what? I can tell you all day how beautiful you are, but you got to be able to tell yourself how much you love yourself, honor yourself, and respect yourself. Secondly, self-parenting means you got to be the higher parent to nurture that child and take care of that child and help that child to grow. And that's the work we'll be doing for the next 3 weeks as we go through family of origin and the inner child. And don't put up with me. I get excited about this stuff because I know how much it's helped me. And it's brought a whole different dimension into my life, and it's very special. And so I want to say a prayer tonight. And as we are saying our prayers, as I'm doing the prayer with you tonight, we do put up a vision of the lecture hall with our memorial wall, which is all the people that have passed, have gone from us. And that's a real important part of our place here at Starting Point. It's a very sacred room. I call it the sacred room of memorials of people that have passed before us. So let us pray. God, we come before you as a family. We come before you in prayer. We come before you in gratitude and humility. We ask for your help and your guidance as we walk the journey. Teach us to be open to new things. Teach us to be open to learn new things about ourselves. Teach us to be able to take the spirit you gave us at birth and be able to energize that spirit, to build that spirit in a positive way. Walk with us and guide us, but to give us the strength to be able to be the higher parent, to be able to take care of that little child. Give us the strength to be able to walk the journey together with you. As we look back and realize so many people have gone before us, they're our family. They are connected to us. So we call upon them as our angels to guide us and be part of us. As we look on this memorial wall, we realize how special it is because it reminds us never to forget. And so every week I try to do a prayer service at the wall to remind us not to forget anybody. They're all part of our family, and their energy is now passed on to us. It's for us to pass it on to others. So God, you are a great God, a special God. You guide us, you strengthen us in all things we do in life. And we have gratitude and we have love. So we pray to you, the God of our understanding. We pray to our higher presence to help us and guide us on our journey every day of our life. And we thank you in gratitude for those who have gone before us. And we look forward to the places we're going in the future. Thank you, God, for the journey. We ask this in your name. Amen. And now I'm going to ask all of you, if you don't mind, unmuting yourself. And we're going to say the we version of the Serenity Prayer together.
God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. God's will, not mine, be done.